Yeah, I felt a bit today. I made it birthday last night. The noodles.
My dear friends, just for 2-3 minutes, I will give you a pre-breakout session talk, a talk chat. So that is what I was doing, the same thing. That is what I am trying to tell before I start. I will start exactly at 4:45. That you need not to take any photos or recording, because at the end of this session, it is already kept in website in 7 ways, kept in 7 ways. I'm not joking. You can save it, you can download it, you can see in video form, you can see in audio form, you can print it, you can read it, you can write it in 7 different forms. At the end of the session, you have to just click a button, share it, it will directly come to your iPhone. I'll just give you the URL is already there in the business card. Even if you don't know, or if you don't take it, I'll just give you on the screen what is the URL. It's very simple. My name is the URL. Just put the name and then it will come. I'll literally show you. So that is what you can avoid wasting time in clicking, because there are 40 slides, and every slide and every word I mentioned here will be recorded and downloaded into the website. So you avoid, your job is only to hear, to see, and then to listen to me. That's all. So that is why, because many speakers were saying don't record, don't take photos, but I am doing, you will get everything. When you go home on your cell phone, it will be downloaded, or iPad, you can download it. So now I will start the session. So my topic is differentiated teaching and learning. In fact, you all are familiar with the approaches to teaching and approaches to learning. That is in a general term for anybody or everyone in the class. But what we are doing for a especially challenged children, that is, we call it as an inclusive assessment, or there are many names used. Today the latest name is inclusive assessment or differentiated skills. Those children, how are we tackling in the class? So we know that for every parent, their own child is a star. They always expect that my child should excel in the examination. They should do best. But we know that in our classroom, there are children from different families, and each one is having different skills. So we cannot expect them to excel in all the skills. So like an artist need not to bother about mathematics, and an entrepreneur need not to bother about history, and a musician need not to bother about chemistry, and athlete has to bother about his physics rather than physics. So that is why this is parents cannot be knowing. So we have to inculcate. So when I started preparing by references, Google, there's oceanic references now. I was literally swimming into the references. I was walking over the references, sleeping, and so what should I do? I thought anybody can download it. Just in Google, just type differentiated learning, you will get everything. Infinite number of videos, infinite number of references. But then I thought, let me give you something unique, because you are gifted. You are the very fact that you are present here, and you are going to carry back my own real life situations. What happened in the last 40 years of my teaching? I'm just putting every year incident as 1 minute. So in 40 years incident, I put it in 40 minutes with 10 minutes video. So it will come to 50, 55 minutes, but I'll see that last 5 minutes is reserved for your own reflections or your own questions. So that is why I said that please avoid the recording, but you can get it. Remember, I will give you the website, I'll show you, and then you can download it, everything. So I said that in my personal experience, 40 years back, itself I felt that I could prove that every child born is an angel. In fact, they become good or bad, angel or devil. It depends upon our treatment. That parents, because parent is the first teacher at home, the teacher, and teacher is the second parent at home. plus their own friends. So if they treat that child properly, every child can become an angel. So it is the environment made them to go wrong. So that is why let us not judge because they are doing bad in particular subject, or it's like judging a fish, not able to fly, not able to climb the trees and so on. That is a stupid decision. So we should know that how to differentiate where the child is having better skills. And so accordingly we can test them. Because scientifically we know that no two students are alike. And in fact, God has created, being a mathematician, I'll give you 10 billion brains. There are 10 raised to 10 soul is living. That's especially social animal. 10 raised to 10. So he saw that every brain has some circuit difference. So you will always see there are some skills less, some skills are more. So we have to accept that, and then we do not expect equal skills from all the children. So that is what we should know, to respect their own skills. So let us not kill their creativity. Let us not kill their daringness to inquire. Let us not kill their individuality. Let us not kill their ability to dream. Let us not kill their willingness to think. Let us not kill their freedom to expression. Let us not kill their innovation. Because you cannot compare with one another. Because everyone has different abilities. Keeping this in mind, it is not only that we should also teach their parents. So that is why I'm just going back 40 years back, how I realized. Because it is not, see, unlike technology, the teaching methodology is the same. So I introduced this DTL 40 years back when I entered the classroom to teach the university. In the university when I entered, my students were above my age. In fact, it was, the students were selected 1 in 100, and it was a military college. So when after a term, I assessed, I gave that is a real life situation one that I faced. I gave the feedback and told that in the class of 100 students, 1 student failed. So I gave, this is the failure marks that, what happened to you? You are selected 1 in 100, how come you do very bad in academics? I gave the report sheet immediately, tore and then threw it onto my face. So I thought, oh, is this the reaction? That was for me something new. Is this a reaction? Then I felt if I reported to the commandant, he was immediately dismissed. So his dream of becoming a gentleman, becoming a military officer is gone. And he is selected. So I felt that let me not report to this commandant, so let me change myself. Because if I argue with him, I was fearing that he may even physically attack. Because I have to look him up like this after a military cadet with a good physique. That I felt, let me change myself. I have accepted him. Then I started changing myself. So what should I do? First I realized I have actually reported in the whole class that you have failed. That is actually not good. Well, we should have taken personally, we should have advised you how to improve. So these are the many situations that loving touch is very important. So I'm referring back, it is not only me, even the filmmaker, the famous filmmaker, Star Wars, George Lucas, he also started contributing a lot to differentiated teaching and learning. Let us see what he says according to him.
Checking out.
If they aren't excited or if they don't see how it is relevant to their life, kids are either bored or lost.
We need a different way of looking at what we learn, why we learn, and how do we use what we learn. We need to teach people how to think.
"25 years ago.
And that needs to be better is very, very easy. The how is very, very hard. So the idea of making an archive of what works in education seemed like a great idea. With making movies of classrooms and processes that work and putting them on videotapes. And what are we educating kids? How do people actually learn? So we've been doing that for 25 years now. Here's people doing it in Texas. Here's people doing it in North Dakota. Here's people doing it in New York City. You just see it, and it works.
Schools That Work is a series of excellent schools across
across the K through 12 spectrum that have evidence that what they're doing works.
We do now focuses on methodology. We're trying to introduce people to social emotional learning, to multidisciplinary studies, to project-based learning, things that have been taken for granted for so long that nobody ever tested them to say, does this actually work?
The race is that it's hard to keep the knowledge from them.
We're looking to see if the bubble is between the lines.
It is!
Nice work, people.
The skills kids need to come out of high school and college with are the skills of a problem solver, of a creative thinker, of a collaborator, of a lifetime learner. That's what our goal is to help people see what's possible.
Work of the foundation will ever run out of things to do, because as we progress and the world changes, the educational system is going to have to change with it. And so we have to try to help it along.
That was the reflection from George Lucas. Many are doing research on this. So as a filmmaker, he also contributed a lot. So what is differentiation? Anything that accommodates differences in your learners, leading them to learn more effectively. It is to meet the needs of diverse learners through intercollaborative program. So you should always, in your class, you will always see some students who have to be treated differently. So you have to create a lesson separately for him, you have to create a question separately for him so that he also understands. Very precisely, differentiation is simply to provide varied learning options in a classroom to make the curriculum and instruction the best fit for all the learners. So that is why we have to teach the parents also that they should not degrade their own children. They should rather empower them with confidence, empower them. They should maintain their prestige, their dignity, not to compare and contrast. I see that very often parents do say that by mistake or very often that my younger one is beautiful but not good in studies, or the other one is very handsome but he is very disobedient. Anything, we should not compare and we should not expect too much also, because every child is a star in a particular skill. So I have underlined this expect because there is another real life situation I mentioned. So we should not stress and strain their child. So we should be satisfied with their exam score. When I ask my children, I always ask, have you cleared the subjects? First question. Then he will say, yes. Then have you got 40, 50, 60? Then finally he will say, I got above 90. Well, then we can plan it, where to go and how to go. So we start with the lowest level. So if they are not cleared, then still we should have another, because opportunities are plenty in life. So that is what we should tell them. So we should not judge them, we should love them. So the right time is always there for everyone. So we should always respect their dreams. We should ask them to dream and respect their talents. So what real life situation I felt underlining expectations. There are some parents, they expect after returning from the examination hall, okay, have you done best? Is it above 90? Then we can plan it to put in medicine or engineering. So one such student, and I was an examination observer in a particular district, a student who was supposed to do at the top level, and he felt that the examination went wrong for a particular subject, and as usual he went for nature's call. People, the invigilator relieved him because by rule, 5 minutes he did not come, 10 minutes he did not come. Then I said that you go to the bathroom break, open the door and see. And then he was found dead, committed suicide. Then after a month of investigation, police investigation went, and finally parents were questioned. Then they realized, concluded that because of the parents' expectation, that he did not want to return back with a failure marks. So that is what we should also advise them, consult the parents, not to expect too much. And so that is a teachers play a very important role, multi-dimensional role, especially 3-dimensional role, PCH. I just computers prefer coffee in house. Prefer 3 P's are, you plan your lesson properly, planning. Then processing, how to execute a lesson in the class where there are many students. So you have to process that properly so that everybody is given the opportunity to answer. And check the product. the product is not up to your mark, find out. Again, some other methods. Again, redo the process, planning and executing the process. So you have to recycle the process, and especially while the kids, handle them carefully. That is, have your own subject knowledge properly, and that is with your heart teach them. That is what we say that is caring, confidence, and compassion. These are all very important. So when I say that, because caring, that is a loving touch or a human touch is sometimes sufficient. The knowledge is not full or more knowledge is not necessary. Just a human touch is sufficient. But you can bend that child. You can make that child to obey to any level. So here I have many activities recorded. So that is why a workshop is conducted on the 1 hour session. So I have got a video which shows that even a simple baby, by mere touching their pets, she could set them into sleep, she could wake them, just a simple touch, the human touch. So even the professionals, even the doctors, very often whenever my children cry, I just have to take them to the doctor. He doesn't give any medicine, he just touches, but he charges. Sometimes I don't show the bill because every time he writes, come on the third day. I said, I lost the bill, but still he writes, in the trial I written. I call you on third day, why you are coming after a month? So, because the children also just cry because they wanted that touch, the human touch, the doctor's touch, and we do say that master's touch is also very important. That touch is more than sufficient, that you can empower the children. So this is one such video. So that is very important. So human touch, the love, affection is more important. You can literally control anybody. They learn. First, the kids have to love their masters, love their teachers. Then automatically they love their subjects. So that is what, how do I differentiate? How do I plan my lesson? How do I process? How do I get the product? So you have to know what is their interest, readiness, learning. So you should have their profile, that is background, mother, father, where they are working. It is always that normally every school creates the profile of each and every student. So it is a must. And then you can proceed to give a good care, empower, compassion, confidence, and see that you should not have very high expectations. So there are situations where students could talk openly to their teachers, homeroom teachers, to their colleagues, to their friends, but not to their parents. So here I have a video where how the stressed students open their problems to the school administrators, and then the administrator invited the parents to read their problems and then correct their own children. So this is a video, it's an interesting video.
Dear Amma and Appa, you know I am very shy and it has taken a lot of courage to write this letter, so please listen to me.
Exams are near and I'm scared. But not from the exam pressure, but from the pressure from you.
I know I did not do well last time, but believe me, I'm working really hard this time.
You only talk about competition and marks. I feel like I don't have a life anymore.
I have a limited capacity, you know. I can't study continuously for 10 hours in one go.
Sometimes मैं आप दोनों से इतना डर जाती हूँ that I find myself in tears.
I feel very suffocated and I just want to get away from it all.
I don't understand why you don't let me meet my friends. I feel trapped.
I know you really care about my studies and get angry at me for not studying. But do you know, I really try hard.
I get tired after studying.
I want to watch football on TV.
But nee TV connection nahi kar panta.
Please don't come to check on me inside my room after every half an hour. It really bugs me and breaks my concentration.
You've become a stranger to me. I get a rumbling feeling in my tummy, like I'm going to faint.
Baba, even when you're with me, it's like आप मेरे साथ नहीं हो. आप अभी भी अपने ऑफिस के बारे में सोच रहे हो.
You look so stressed during my exams that it makes me nervous.
आप सबके सामने प्लीज मुझे निशी आंटी की बेटी के साथ कंपेयर मत करो.
Appa, why can't we be a normal house?
You always scream and scold me. I haven't slept for nights after getting yelled at by you.
Sometimes it's so frustrating that I feel like locking myself in the bathroom and not talking to anyone.
I know you two really love me and are really concerned about me.
But still sometimes, just let me be.
मेरा दम घुटता है. I feel like please don't demotivate me. I get it from school and from my classes and then from you.
And I'm thankful and privileged to be your daughter. But please try to understand me. Thank you, man. Your little baby.
One day, I'll make both of you proud. Please help me. Love you, Mom. Love you, Pa.
Yours, Tina.
Parents also play a very important role in them away from stress and strain. So that is what the reflection says. So how should I do this? What are the strategies for differentiated teaching and learning? So I have put that there are 10 different ways. You can differentiate by giving different tasks in the same class for each one. You can differentiation by different assessment in the class for different types of students. But you should also give the feedback. Simply assessment without feedback is not sufficient. You can give a challenge card. So a scholar can be given a very tough assignment, whereas the others can be given. You can give challenge card. That is, you can differentiate the cards separately. You can have a flexible questions. You need not ask that tough questions to the particular student who will not answer. No, you have to create questions so that everybody answers the different questions on the same content. You can also go for a project-based learning so that everybody comes together to do the same task, and then there is a good environment created. If required, you can give a learning support. Some one is you can also check the product. If you feel that they are not improved, again repeat the process. So do the process again and again. Check find their interest, find their groupings. You may not allot a group with a hard rule. You can always negotiate and check their culture. Sometimes some students also differentiation can also be confirmed by confession. Some students do confess to me That is, a lot of problems are going on at home. Mom and dad, they are fighting or they are having affair and so on. So many students are confirmed. And there are many situations where I kept it secret. I did not reveal to others. So there are many episodes which not even solved by FDA or CBI because I kept many secrets still with me. Maybe I'll write it in the autobiography, but without naming anybody. So, what is why the step one is carry with interest. Know your students better than your subject. So it is better to know the students with their profiles properly and to find out their background. Because I remember knowing their weakness, we can accordingly tackle some situations. So there was a situation, I'm referring to the real life situation number 4, which says that there was a situation where a teacher invigilated, and as usual we always say, come on, remove your any notes if you have kept by mistake, you remove and keep it on the table. That's all we should say, because we are not going to physically remove from their pocket or the geometry box. But one teacher later on confessed to me that I had to remove from a student's pocket that notes were same for the subject, so I removed and kept it. As soon as I removed, the student did not write the exam. The next 2 hours, he slept. Then I said, don't worry to the teacher, because she will confess to me. He will tonight, he will sleep, tomorrow he will come and he will write the examination. But he is a very good student. I remember his face in front of me. Very good student, very disciplined, very respectful. But maybe he must have kept it like a flip card, he did not remove it. But IB says that IB says that only instruct. You need not remove physically. But then for a week he did not come. After a month, the police department came and reported to the school that he is no more. On the day of the examination, he did not return home. And later on they found that on the same day, some unrecognized body on the railway track, and they took a month to confirm from the shirt's tailor's tagline that this body belongs to so and so person and so on. So that's how that story ended, and because he could not tolerate that insult that he was shown, keeping the flip cards in the pockets. So he did not want to return back home, he did not want to come back to the school, and then he preferred to end his life. So these are the situations, and still I also did not reveal to anybody, and so we should know the profile. We should know, accordingly we have to react, because it is necessary as a woman teacher, we should keep their profile, their background and so on. So this is a very important part of differentiated teaching. And another case, a good supporting environment we should create. So it is not necessary that we should allot a student a particular seat. Because in the beginning we used to feel that why you are sitting down, why you are sleeping down. It is not necessary. Today the children are very sensitive, and allow them to adjust their own seat. Allow them. This is a situation where how they take the responsibility of sharing their own seat. flexible space environment has to be created. And you can also have a flexible rules, because it is not necessary that you should have a particular deadline to get the assignments. You can have among the rule for a student who submits late, you can accept it. So you can always have a negotiation depending upon the student's ability. There is no hard and fast rule. Step 2, so step 1 was knowing the students, step 2 is building a good community and empower them with confidence. Then allow them to speak, that is empower their voice, check their learning abilities. So that is very important. Building a good community, you have to chat with them very often, know their problems, and see that a good environment, supporting environment is created in the class among the students. Administrator can also help in this. So this is one situation how a child with differentiated ability is one and all supported by the school administrator, school students, and so on. So here, this is a good video which shows that.
Hi. Hi. I want to join your school. Principal sir, admission मिलेगा? बहुत चलन हो रही है. I want to join your school. I want to join. A white globe.
What a critical
ये है
thought.
इनका भारत.
This is the world the
Confused?
student expects to
What a
be
thought.
purely of international
ये किसने
mindedness
बनाया?
with no boundaries in this white globe. Who made this?
Intelligent, creative 12-year-old boy. Unfortunately, with this very, very rare disease.
It is accepted in the class because everybody's support was essential to do that. So like this, we have to create that kind of environment. Sometimes doing a pep talking environment, encourage them to set their goals. You can talk to them personally, have their choices, accept their choices, appreciate the students, give them incentives, assign some kind of responsibility. So this is another activity pre-recorded, how pep talking helps the students in the class.
Some more interesting examples. Pablo Picasso, famous Cubist painter. He never understood the number 7. He used to say, hey, that's my uncle's nose upside down. Who's Mickey Mouse's dad?
Walt Disney.
Correct, Walt Disney. Troubled by alphabets, he dived straight into cartoons. Neil Diamond, popular singer, drowned under the shame of his red-stained report card, wrote golden songs. Agatha Christie, famous writer. Can you believe a writer who couldn't read and write as a child? But why suddenly am I sharing all this with you today? To show you that there have been such gems amongst us who have changed the course of the world because they could look at the world differently. Their thinking was out of the box, and not everyone understood them. They were ridiculed. But despite that, they persevered and emerged such winners that the world applauded them.
So to these famous misfits, we dedicate today's art class. With them in mind, let's step outside these four walls and create something different, anything.
It is not necessary we have to always talk about the subject. Sometime once in a week we can discuss some kind of models and so on. So we started with knowing the student, then building a community. Third is differentiated instructions. As I said that you can create different types of questions and it should be clearly worded to fit for different abilities, be precise, to the point, so that everybody is able to answer. It is not necessary that I will ask a question only to a particular student so that the answer will be given, then I can proceed further. No, it should be different types of questions from the same context so that everybody gets a chance to answer. So that is what differentiation by questioning. And then you should also accept and tolerate among the students. There should not be any bullying, because equality and diversity should be respected. We should use the appropriate language, appropriate behavior. Sometimes some teachers do go wrong by not using proper language and not accepting. So this is a situation where sometimes teachers also have to change themselves to react properly.
A noun is a naming word, a pronoun is used instead of a noun, an adjective describes a noun, a verb describes the action of a noun, an adverb describes the action of a verb. A conjunction joins two sentences together, a preposition is used to describe the relationship between a noun and a pronoun, and an interjection is a word thrown in to express feeling. Have you got it, Mr. Ishan Nandakishore Avasti?
Why can't you? Idiot! Why can't you?
क्यों मैथ्स में हो अंडा क्यों रोज खाते डंडा
Grammar pathetic and spelling all wrong. अक्षर जो नाचे क्या खाई है ना? Idiot, duffer, lazy, crazy, idiot, hey duffer, lazy,
क्यों भाषा खराब क्यों ना देते जवाब
क्यों करती नहीं try why but why can't you?
क्यों रहते फिजटी क्यों हैंडराइटिंग रद्दी क्यों होमवर्क अधूरा क्यों ध्यान नहीं पूरा
This child can drive anybody mad. Someone please call up his dad.
शिरोमणि
क्यों नंबर कम क्यों करती नहीं साहब?
क्यों ज्योग्राफी में गोल बोल 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 बोल
दफर दाहिने हाथ में 5 लेजी
That was very important. That is, we should accept, in spite of this kind of abilities. So this is very easy because teachers also have to change their attitudes to accept, to tolerate all this. Then only the students will become an angel. Because our main aim is that we have to maintain that status of angel when God designed, and it should remain till the end. So that is you should also establish the rule that it's not that a particular student raises the hand and then answers and then the entire period is utilized by him. That should not happen. Then you can directly ask a question to a particular student. Direct questioning, that is whether a scholar or non-scholar, you are in a group, ask them to elect a person to get them answered so that everybody gets the chance. So that all will be respected. That is the main thing, that not to be biased in the teaching. Even if the students were absent, we should have some kind of rule so they can catch up by having their mail IDs and then phone number and then call them, so that they should not feel that they are left behind. So they should be taken care in spite of their absence. So that is how I said that I'm repeating, knowing the students, number one, and number two is building a committee, number three was differentiated instruction. Step 4 is the timely assessment. Because as I said that the inspiration is such that you have to give the assessment, that is that good feedback, assess the measurable, it should be timely given and it should be realistic so that they can change, they can improve. So if it is assessed after a year, after a term, it is useless because a time frame should be kept. So feedback should be given, that is the most important step. Creating a supporting environment with feedback or giving a task is a good goal for success in the classroom. So this is a pre-recorded situation where by simply assigning a classroom job in the class, sometimes some students are feeling better. That is, I could do the job. The teacher asked me to do something. So this is Dear children, I am going to tell you a story about a boy who is very introvert. He is very weak in studies. His teacher and friends made fun of him. All these were his enemies and were dancing in front of his eyes whenever he opened his eyes. With that in the mind, he is always stressed and tensed. To whom he can narrate his problems. He was literally waiting for an appropriate teacher. He was wishing for an appropriate teacher to accommodate him. He always failed in all subjects. Again and again, his peer group teachers insulted him. He was waiting for that teacher who will approach him. One day, he raised his skills of thoughts with scientific innovation. Do you know who is he? That boy was Albert Einstein.
The Brownian motion, the photoelectric effect, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in 1921. Ishan, there are light on the please.
Simple task. He feels happy to do the task. The teacher told and he could do it.
किस महान हस्ती ने दुनिया को इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से रोशन किया?
एडिसन। थॉमस अल्वा एडिसन।
बिल्कुल सही शाम. Very good.
So like this kind of task can be given in the class and take the opportunity to talk to him. And everybody gives the teacher is trying to talk to him personally. So this was a change I made to myself. Ishan, have no fear when I am here. Always say I can. Say I am the best in the class. Say I can do everything. No obstacle will stop you. You can scale the heights of Himalaya, Mount Fuji. So that is how we should appreciate the children by giving a task, talking to them personally. And if they are musicians, just ask them to go to the stage, perform the music, so instead of doing a competition in mathematics. So you have to know in the student in which task is better, give that task as a prime one. Not the other competitive examination where you will fail and so on. So let each one go to the stage to become the hero of the school in their skills where they are good. So encouraging the social activity is also very important. Sometimes it is, so you have to see that a good pairing of the students, good group in the social environment. Not only the teachers, even the parents can also support. Very often the parents also support not only financially for the education but also emotionally, socially. So this is a situation where the parents are also supporting the child on the stage so that the child feels happy that my daddy is also singing.
Hey,
Zubi-dubi param-pam. शहब पत्ते गा रहे हैं, फूलों पे पवरे गा रहे हैं। हो बगियों में दो फूलों की हो रही है गुफ्तगू, जैसा फिल्मों में होता है हो रहा है हुब्बहू। Zubi-dubi pam-pam, zubi-dubi param. होता है हो रहा है हुब्बहू। Zubi-dubi, 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 nache kyun pagas minna.
So that is simply supporting the children financially is not sufficient. Sometimes parents also have to play such kind of role, take them to the stage. Because after the age of 15, 16, they don't require the parents. They will say, I have no time with you to go around here and there. This is the time, especially the PYP children. For these DP children, they don't require the parents, they require their own friends. So you can allot the task accordingly, that is who is good, challenging task. This I have been telling, this as a part of this assessment. The step number 5, because when I repeat again that knowing the students, building a community, differentiated questions, then feedback. Step number 5 is inspiring them, motivate them. That is through a moral story, good ethics. You can repeat the previous 4 steps again and again until they are recovered. That is giving, patting with pad. Pad means protection, affection and direction. So this has to be repeated again and again until the child becomes better and better. That is why most of the national government nowadays they are saying that promote them. Elementary, junior high school, periodic promotion. Nobody should fail. That is correct because it is also teachers' responsibility and parents' responsibility. Only in the senior high school or DP, examination is taken strictly, seriously, and then there they are not maintaining that condition of promotion by year. So here, so that is why we should see that the child does better, even the project-based learning. This is the activity where the child can come together. Even hundreds students can do one activity. Very often I have done this activity in the science project or in a mathematics project that is called as Group 4 project. So you can also, it is a dominoes. Around thousands of dominoes. So this kind of activity can be conducted. It is also a part of the curriculum in this. So here, so you should check the product. Now so far I have been discussing differentiated abilities, differentiated students, how to take care and so on. Sometimes we forget our own normal students. So sometimes we have to tackle the normal students also. So sometimes they also behave smartly. So I have a video that you should also check their behavior. You should not leave them. They are scholars, they will take off sometimes they also go wrong, and sometimes the principal have to tackle or the teachers have to tackle as a part of students' guidelines. This is one such situation, how it is being tackled in the school.
He went to the principal.
So could you please get them to knock it off?
No problem. I got this.
Attention, please. Students, attention, please. Ladies, would you please stop putting lipstick prints on the bathroom mirrors? I repeat, ladies, would you please stop putting lipstick prints on the bathroom mirrors? Thank you. Is that good?
Yeah,
Jelly bean?
sure.
What would you guess happened? The number of daily mirror kissings doubled. Elohio spent hours cleaning them off. That's when he got smart. He called a group of the most popular girls in the school, known culprits, down into the lavatory.
Ladies, I'd like to thank you for your time. Every day at the end of the day, I have to go through an unnecessary cleaning process. I'd like to show it to you, and I'm hoping you're willing to help. If you look over here to the mirror, see these lip prints? They're greasy and difficult to get off. I go home late every day because I spend so much time on these mirrors. I'd like to show you what I have to do every day. Every day I do this.
Sometimes you act very smartly, and so you have to differentiate the students sometimes by culture, interest. So it is indeed motivated interest by dancing. Sometimes some teachers do dance to eat with them, to chat with them, to pep talking. And so very often the schools also say that you have your lunch with the students. You dance with the students during the program like many national functions or international functions and so on. So it is necessary to be with them close in all their deeds. Then only, because the children have to love the teachers first, and then after that they automatically love their subjects. So this is a real life situation 5, because we have just time. What I felt that is, we not only have to mind the differentiated students, not only have to know normal students. Sometimes I also feel that I must also have a differentiated approach to the colleagues also. Because there are some colleagues I see that, because I remember some colleagues, even if I give a bad remark, even if I would laminate, frame it and then keep it. I said, don't, it is a negative remark, don't. But still he says that it is because you have autographed, I preserve it. There are other colleagues, though I give a good remark, they immediately, you go, before I turn, you used to thrash it, because you have given, I don't want it. So he feels that, so that is why I feel that if I am given the chance, I will see how you have to have, as a leader, differentiated approach to colleagues also, DSC. So that is why I have met all these kinds of people. Of course, my principal is standing here. I told the principal also, so there are some colleagues, they are accepting even the negative remark. Some colleagues, even if I give a positive remark, they find pleasure in thrashing in front of my eyes. So that is, so we have to take care of not only differentiated students, not only normal students, sometimes the colleagues also accordingly. So this is a vote of thanks. So let us differentiate, see that don't enforce the fees to climb upon fees, just depending on the abilities, you accept them and then give them. That is why, especially IB has 4 levels of mathematics. That is the higher HL, SL and lower SL. Why? Because even those who are not at all liking mathematics, they can take the lower SL. So that is why the group 5, because I am group 5 is a teacher now. Group 5, they introduced 4 levels. can take the lowest level, even if he gets mathematics. And in fact, fortunately, from last year, they introduced Excel with even 2 out of 7. 2 also they can get their diploma. That they introduced because they have seen that if they are failing, they are losing the diploma, it is because in Excel they got 2. The Excel, at least they have to have 3. 2, they will never get the diploma. But last year they changed the rule. So that is why IB also made a lot of flexible rules so that they should not, because he cannot, he may be an athlete, why he has to bother about the mathematics. So they made Excel, which 2 also can get their diploma. So there are a lot of flexibility is still now also going on, inclusive assessment and so on. And these are the references. As I said, that this is the URL. If you type it, you will get everything. Rather, I will just show you now itself so that you will get all the 4 format. And this is a Twitter, and this is the autobiography. So I did not do any references, Google references. It is not my own personal, but to make sure that I am literally typing in front of you. I said drnagesh.com. Here hyphen, then put hyphen NAGESHCOM. Then see automatically it comes. Then click. You will see the notes. See, this is what is video form. You click the video form. You see. If you don't want to see, you close your eyes. Here the audio form. That's all. And so it is already uploaded because the camera is there. It is directly. I just press the switch. So it is uploaded. It is the same thing. So coming back the other one. So if you want to have in readable format, this is a PDF format. Whatever, every slide is here. I'll just click here. Okay, are you able to see? Click here. It will directly upload. And then you download it. You can save it. These all the slides are here. See, this is all the slides. 41 slides are there. You can download it. And it is already made to the public site now. So you just type it. If you don't remember my name, the card is there. You can take the card. Just type it. So everything is, you can carry back. So anybody got in your iPhone? drnagesh.com. dr-nagesh.com. dr-nagesh.com. Thank you. If you have any reflections or any questions, you can ask.
I just have one question. Just towards the end of your presentation, you said about some IB rule being changed and HL2 also being accepted as a pass. Is it documented anywhere?
Yes, it's in the fast track guide to the diploma, the document. The document says the.
I will mail it to you now.
What exactly is it? Does he still have to get a
what they have written, Excel, so far Excel in any subject 2 is not allowed, but now they accepted keeping mathematics in mind. Because in other subject they never get to, but mathematics are all that used to because they are getting Excel 2. So keeping mathematics in mind, even Excel 2 they can get their diploma.
Only in math or any Excel?
Any Excel, but only in math they.
But the overall score of Excel should be 12.
And the overall score for a diploma, to get the diploma. That is safe. That is. Yes, yes. Yes, yes.
552.
552 is possible. So you can start the price man.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you an easy way. I'll tell you an easy way.
That was this one, the drawing for with one. Okay, I will.
Yeah, Miss Shizu, I tell you what.
Just
I'll
order me.
No, go to your office.
Give all the document to me.
Yes, that is the way. That is the old school way.
That's the easiest way.
Exactly. Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Really interesting.